well, not just a street mentality, but that whole disorder, that type of dysfunctional type of thinking, and what comes out of their household. Because a lot of these children, they learning how to scheme, they learning how to plot down here. You know what I'm saying? It's given to them at infancy. You know what I'm saying? It's given to them at the earliest stages, and due to the fact that I wasn't raised like that, it was hard for me to really process and really understand that type of mentality. So, with me being in the streets, you know what I'm saying, you know, because I used to go out a lot, you know what I mean, I used to play out in the streets a lot when I was younger, you know what I'm saying, be in this park, cutting up, we used to be at the rec over there, Baltimore and Gilmore, I used to be over there, you know, I used to be at different places, and I used to just see how easily I used to end up in conflicts with people. And the reason why the conflict would start, it was because of my naivety. You know what I'm saying? Whereas though, you know, first of all, you could tell I was different. You know what I'm saying? I had manners and all that stuff. And you know, a lot of people already trained. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I could try Slim. You know what I'm saying? I could try it, you know. So, you know, nice, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna do nothing. See, one thing about me, I was always gonna protect myself though. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I put myself in a lot of bad predicaments. And I think once I got to around like the age 10, that's when I kind of got a little bit, no, I got to like age 11, I started kind of cutting some of those behaviors, you know what I'm saying, whereas though, but then it still wasn't in balance, because, you know, I was putting myself in situations where as though, you know what I mean, I could have got beaten badly. Like, I was in situations before, like, I'm gonna tell you one instance, like when I was on the basketball court, me and this dude, we get to ruffling with each other like over the basketball. And I yanked it so hard that he flew. And one thing I didn't know, and I don't know why I wasn't realizing the people game beforehand, it became an issue between him and I about it. He got my face about it, so I got in his face. Little did I know the whole damn basketball team was his cousins. You know what I'm saying? And little did I know that half of the damn crowd was his hood. And I'm just there with like 4 other people. You know, the team that I was on, I'm just there with them. You know what I'm saying? With nobody. You know what I'm saying? But in that situation, you know, later on that night, I got jumped. But I mean, like, this was one of the most funniest situations ever. This is the first situation where, as though so many people trying to bank me at one time, they wasn't able to effectively do a damn thing. Let me tell you something, man. I probably, if I remember getting hit 3-4 times, if that. It was so many people trying to do so much stuff. One person pulled me over here. It was like I spent the most of the time just getting pulled. You know what I'm saying? And there was so many people. I couldn't even raise my damn arms to even defend myself. I was trying to get into one of my people's cars, and I was able to successfully do it. You know what I mean? I got yanked out of the car a little bit. You know what I mean? I got yanked back out of the car, but I was able to get back in it. They wasn't coordinated. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't coordinated. Whereas if they'd just said, like, yo, y'all 13 sit back, let them 2 get his ass. They would have been able to do some damage then. You know what I mean? A little bit more focused. Even if you had me one-on-one square off with a dude. But I just found out that ain't even really relevant to my point about being friendly.
Nah, but that's a funny story, though.
Yeah, but I found myself in situations, man, with predicaments with people where as though, you know what I mean, like, another thing is I've always been the type of person, you know, I used to go a lot of places on my own, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't have people with me, you know what I'm saying, that was going to protect me. You know, so I'm just saying I just been in a lot of fights in this area, you know what I'm saying, by people wanting to take advantage of me or violating me, you know what I'm saying? When as I kept getting older and I'm assessing all these violations, even when I was in middle school, I went to Harlem Park, you know, a lot of hoods, you know what I'm saying, that was strong, you know, as far as in the drug world, you know what I'm saying, just notorious for being under, you know, police surveillance. All of those hoods went to Harlem Park Middle School, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? I mean, almost everybody, if you was from the Dome, Pennsylvania Avenue, Lexington Terrace, Sandtown, CBS, EA, you know what I'm saying? Like, Baltimore has changed so much. Like, back in the day, like, you know what I mean? Wasn't nobody talking about no Crips and no Bloods, BGFs. Nope. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't even gonna go there about how that, you know, on the political aspect, how that got all started, but it was about your hood. You know what I'm saying? You know, Poplar Grove, Like when I went to Evanston, you know what I mean, Evanston Village, Irvington, you know what I'm saying? And everybody had their own respective colors, you know what I mean? Like EA was red. You know what I'm saying? I think Sandtown, I might be wrong, but Sandtown, I remember, I think Sandtown was black. They wore black rags, you know what I mean? They wore black flags, you know what I mean? So, being at that school, you know what I mean? I used to have a lot of problems with people, period. And a lot of people I had problems with always had homeboys. And so, the more I kind of grew up and I kept experiencing that, I started giving less than a fuck about a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, this is where I lived at. I didn't always have different outlets or alternatives away from it. It's like, this is what I lived in. So, you know what I mean? It was like, I started being half cop. You know what I mean? What I mean by half cop, I started bringing drama and trouble to people. Some people ain't even mean nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, like when you get treated, you keep getting burnt so much. You know what I'm saying? You feel steam, you ready to go off. You know what I mean? So I started being half cop. You know what I mean? And I've done a lot of stuff in my life being half cop. You know what I'm saying? Like just, and not really sitting back. It's like, oh no, this shit ain't happening again. But one thing I learned too about a lot of guys in the streets, you know what I mean? Even sisters, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us like that, you know what I mean? A lot of us been burnt, you know what I'm saying? And we don't know how to communicate that. Some of us don't even understand that we out to burn others because we've been burnt, you know what I mean? And understanding why it is happening and the solution to it. So, with all that, you know what I mean, with all that being said, you know what I mean, it was just a lot of turmoil, you know what I mean? It wasn't, like, I didn't grow up in no home, like I say, it wasn't dysfunctional. You know what I'm saying? I did want more of my father more, because, like, you know, half of the stuff I used to go through as far as fighting people, like, I ain't even had a type of relationship with my father that I even felt comfortable to tell him. And my father was a street guy. That was the funny thing. He's a street guy, and I'm talking to the street guy to the point where, though, like, I look just like my father. You know what I'm saying? And with people, most people have ever seen me, and they able to, like, register as my father, they always got a violent event of his to tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like most people do. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what they know him for. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's kind of crazy that, like, out of all things, I'm his son. You know what I mean? And my father at the time, he had enough. You know what I mean? He had enough money and he had enough people to be able to come to probably any hood that's over here and be like, "That's my son. Don't ever let this happen again." You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm just saying he had that type of pull to even go to some of these other kingpins and other hoods and be like, "Look, bro, I know there's some little element, but look, let your little homies know, man, stay away from my son." My father had that type of pull. I ain't had that type of relationship to even talk to him about it. So, you know, while I'm out here fighting people, paying my dues, getting banked and all that shit, I ain't even tell my father. You know what I'm saying? I just went through it. Half of the time I ain't even tell my mother. A lot of the stuff I just kept to myself. You know what I'm saying? I just kept it to myself. So, you know, but then it was like when I was younger too, I was more clear-headed as far as academically. Like, you know, when I was in elementary school, man, I was always in gifted and talented programs and stuff like that. And then once I went to 6th grade, I went to Harlem Park. First I started up Thurgood Marshall. And due to the fact that I came from over here, I came from this school right here, 5th grade, then my mother moved over northeast, all the way out by, what's that school called? Thurgood Marshall. I couldn't identify with nobody out there. You know what I'm saying? And due to the fact that I couldn't identify with nobody, you know what I mean, as what I considered friends at that time, you know what I mean? It was just like, I didn't even really want to even be there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really felt vulnerable at that school. And that school was really off the chain. I'm talking about, like, really off the chain. Like, that school was like Dangerous Minds, like Thurgood Marshall, you know what I'm saying? That school was like literally off the chain. That's how it was to me, you know what I'm saying? I was only up there for like 28 days. I had got into a fight, you know what I mean? I almost got jumped, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, came down to here, you know, Harlem Park. And it was just like, as far as, you know, I can't even explain to you what happened as far as like my ambition to like really get my schoolwork done and all of that. But to kind of like breeze through some things, by the time I started going up Emerson, yeah, we still over northeast by the time I was up Emerson. So I failed my first year at Emerson. I failed, you know what I'm saying? And so the solution got put on the table that my mother wanted me to go live with my father. My father lived out Orange Mills in Newtown, you know what I'm saying? I think the property value of this house at the time was like, it was a $250,000 house or whatever, right? Nice house, you know what I mean, out there. You know, it was real different for me. I like first of all, like due to the fact that my father and I never really had that shown up intimate relationship, I didn't want to be there, you know what I'm saying? But as far as sightseeing, hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the children, you know what I mean? The children were different to a degree, but then I mean I started running into, you know, the county thugs who, you know what I mean, they wanted that, you know, they wanted to portray that city life real hard, you know what I mean, that street life. They wanted to portray that, you know what I mean, real hard, which I found hilarious, you know what I'm saying? But the sights, you know what I mean, because we used to live around, Dwayne Starks used to live up the street from us when he used to play for the Ravens. You know what I mean? He used to live up a couple houses. I used to work I started working at a McDonald's out there. A lot of the Ravens used to come through there, and that was just different for me, you know what I'm saying? You know, I got to meet a lot of people. You know, Muggsy Bogues, he stopped up there at the, used to come to the McDonald's. Like I said, a lot of different Ravens players, you know what I'm saying? But I never really been into sports like that. So, you know what I mean? I ain't really always know everybody. I knew people by who people was